Is it human sacrifice? Is it child sacrifice? Is it billionaires who control the world? Or is it just a bunch of idiots getting together? Or is it something much, much deeper and much, much darker than any conspiracy theory on the planet?
It's your big boy, Biggie, with my Biggie and my chicken nuggets.
It's Biggie Small Chicky Nuggets. There he is.
Biggie Small Sticky Arms.
Now we have the footage pulled up here. Obviously brought to you by Alex Jones. As everybody knows, he's a little bit of a whack job. Not a little bit, probably a lot. I don't agree with everything he thinks. Actually, I don't agree with 99.9% of what he thinks. Some of you might. To each his own. A broken clock can be right twice a day. In fact, it will be right twice a day. And in this particular case, I think he's closer to being right than being wrong. But I think he misses some things. I think he makes some assumptions that shouldn't be made. Really, what happens is you have two camps. You have the, oh, these guys who attend the Bohemian Grove are obviously in control of the entire world, and they do human sacrifices and all these conspiracies. And then you have the other side. And the other side says, this is just basically a grown-up Boy Scout camp, summer camp type get-together where a bunch of rich old men go and pee in the wind. Where do I fall? I have a third category. And I think it's scarier than the conspiracies. And I also think it's more reasonable than just dismissing this whole thing. So I'm gonna offer that to you today because it is 20 times scarier than human sacrifice. And I do mean that. And you'll see what I mean at the very end because that's when we're gonna release it. The reason we made this video, because we've hinted at it before in our videos, talking about how terrible it is to live in America where you have to work 9.7 jobs to feed your family. Great job, America. Thank you, Biden. Oh, and thank you, Trump, because you contributed. If you get mad at me for that, get over yourself. Second of all, Well for the Bird, our man, our first fan, he commented on one of our shorts and was like, keep preaching. Asked if he had seen some of our longer form content. He was like, yeah, and he basically agreed with our perspective, but said except for the Bohemian Grove stuff, he wasn't sure about that. This is for you, Well for the Bird, not to persuade you in any way, but just to give you a little insight of what I think about it, because I'm not one of those nut jobs. That is Elijah.
What's good? You know me, the one who's always behind the camera. I'm finally in the camera now.
He's behind and in the camera somehow again.
I am the camera.
We are both cameraning, something. Most people on either side either go down the rabbit trail of he said, she said, and all the anecdotal evidence, published, speeches that were here and all sorts of stuff. And then some people try to link it to historical events and pagan deities and all sorts of stuff like that. I don't think any of that is technically 100% false, wrong, or bad. However, I do believe that by choosing to just review the footage and analyze it and let it speak for itself, what is the most logical way to understand this? You ready for this?
We're ready.
Now you're looking at a little demon called PJ that was on the front of the actual program. It's kind of in a Hieronymus Bosch style. He's got a little broom and a dustpan, and he's sweeping something up. Now, even more shocking is the figure of a human body burning in the flames. In fact, I've shown it to people that are experts in anatomy, to actual doctors. They say that the anatomical size is that of a baby or small child. Notice how large the cranium is in comparison to the torso, that is the ribs. Understand, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't even know what we're looking at right now, to be honest. I don't know what it's showing.
What I'm even looking at.
So
I was like, is this a painting?
He's talking about the Cremation of Care, which is basically the ceremony that we're about to watch. And he's talking about there's an effigy there that they bring up to the altar and they burn it. This effigy is supposed to represent care. Now, this is where people think that children or human beings is being burned alive. I mean, he makes a bunch of assumptions about that. I don't necessarily think that that's true. Could be, could not be, don't know. But I do want you to take notate, he did say it was child-sized, which is weird. Why would it be? Keep that in mind for later.
This is from the program itself, given out to the establishment lackeys witnessing the sinister activities. Remember, in Babylon and Tyre, they would throw their children into fiery pits. Look at the size of the hands compared to the rest of the body. At long last, here it is, the Cremation of Care unveiled. Suddenly, across the small lake, we saw a carriage with men in black and brown cloaks, robes in front and in back, bearing a bound body. Remember, it was a hidden camera and at somewhat of an angle.
So first of all, super creepy.
What am I hearing?
So it's a bagpipe walk down with the human effigy towards the altar underneath their deity slash owl. And it's accompanied by, I guess, music of some sort, classical, I don't know.
Something particularly pleasing was happening for the Bohemian Grovers with whatever developed with that crowd of men in black and brown and the bound body on the back of the buggy. They drove behind big black tarps they had hanging out of the trees. There was lots of smacking on lips of and bizarre enjoyment by the crowd. We still haven't made out exactly what was going on, but that a real sacrifice may have actually been developing according to some occult experts. All the time in the darkness across the small lake, the men in black were doing something behind the dark curtains hanging from the redwood trees. Then after about 10 more minutes of music, suddenly all around the owl activity began. Here is the main central part of the ritual.
The owl is in his leafy temple. Let all within the grove be reverent before him.
Okay, first line. The owl is in his leafy temple, blah, blah, blah. So, 1, temple. That's obviously a place of worship. Number 2, who's there? The owl. Number 3, let everyone be reverent, which means worshiping. There's the posture. You've got the object of worship, the owl. You've got the leafy temple where they're worshiping, and you've got worship, reverence. Keep watching.
Lift up your heads, O ye trees, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting spires. For behold, here is Bohemian shrine, and holy are the pillars of this house.
Okay, again, shrine, place of worship. Holy are the pillars of the house, whatever. Basically saying that this place is a holy place of worship for their object of worship, which is the owl. I want you to pay attention to how many times they place an emphasis on the worldliness. Okay, trees or, the redwoods or whatever, or Mother Nature kind of deal. If you know anything about paganism, it's basically just a religion of the world, right? Heavy emphasis, a lot of times it's about worldly deities. It's very, very world-bound, world-centered. Animism, it's a paganistic religion that worships trees, animals, and stuff like that. Okay, Elijah. They ring the bell, weaving spiders come not here. What do you think that means?
Thee that ring the bell. I have no idea.
And neither do I. Some speculate that weaving spiders comes not here means that they don't do business in this area because I think it comes from, I saw something about it being Shakespeare quote from something. But that's like their motto. And some people think that there's 2 options. Some people think we don't do business here. Other people think it just basically means outsiders are not allowed. That's really, if you just look at the Bohemian Grove overall, that's really what I think it means. They have such a high priority on privacy and keeping outsiders out. Now, as you can see here, kind of just walking up to the temple area.
Hail, Bohemians! With the ripple of waters, song of birds, such music as inspires inspires the sinking soul, do we invite you into Midsummer's Joy.
Okay. Now, take note of midsummer. Midsummer appears multiple times in their speech. Could mean whatever. Midsummer is it's midsummer. I mean, it happens right in the middle of summer, and it's basically a pagan, usually accompanied by a pagan ritual, and they celebrate certain gods are related to the midsummer paganistic rituals, which typically all start with the letter L and then U. So, wonder what that means. An interesting factoid here. I don't know, again, I'm trying not to just go deep down rabbit holes here, but there is a deity, a Celtic deity named Lug or Lugos, a bunch of different names, Lugus, kind of weird, but it's depicted a lot of times with 3 faces. Now, this was kind of weird at first because basically in 1906, there was a different transcript for this ceremony that we're watching right now. St. John, I believe, Christian, was mentioned in the transcript, and there were some Christian aspects to the Abrahamic God, the Christian God. Those were removed in 1907. What that ceremony looks like then to now, what we have in this video, is a lot different. Neither of them were very Christian. It was a muddy, well, this one's obviously not, but the previous one that even mentioned St. John was not Christian at all. It had Christian elements, but it was a blending of paganism and Christianity and all sorts of weird, crazy, maniacal stuff. But in 1907, Christianity was removed from it. But the reason for me saying that is when I talked about the weird Celtic pagan deity, Lug or Lugus or whatever it's called, he was depicted as 3 faces. That's kind of weird because Christians, I myself, believe in the 3-in-1 God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So that was kind of creepy. I was like, okay, what do I make sense of that? Well, here's one thing. In the Bible, Satan is often depicted as someone who mocks the truth and stays as close as he can to the truth while still corrupting it. He shows himself as an angel of light so that he can manipulate even the very elect. When he's, trying to persuade someone to do evil, he coats it in sweetness, and he just, Adam and Eve. Oh, did God say that really? It just slight tweaks here and there.
If you disguise yourself
exactly, yeah,
as something good, but
when
you're really
not
doing evil.
Yeah. So that's how he tends to do it. And it was kind of weird that the deity that's related to midsummer festivals and rituals had 3 faces and also started with an L and a U. Again, complete speculation, shot in the dark there. But if there was a deity that was represented by midsummer and he mocked the Christian God by taking on 3 faces, it wouldn't be surprising to me.
The sky above is blue, sown with stars. The forest floor is heaped with fragrant drift. Evening's cool kiss is yours. The campfires glow. The birth of roses in your dawn. Shake off your sorrows with the city's dust and cast to the winds the cares of life. Let memory bring back the well-loved names of gallant friends who knew and loved this grove. Dear boon companions of the long ago. Aye, let them join us in this ritual. Not a place be empty in our midst. O beauty's vassals, who hold in this gray autumn of the world her springtime in your heart, attend our tale. Gather, ye forest folk, and cast your spell over these mortals. Touch their world.
I know this is long, hang in there, but as we go along, I want to point specific things out. Now, you already know it's a ritual. He just said it, right? Let the video speak for itself. It is a ritual, and he just said to cast a spell upon the mortals.
Blind eyes with very open their eyes and follow the memories of yesterday and seal the gates of sorrow. It is a dream, and yet not all a dream. Dull care and all of his words are but a dream.
Dull care, it is a dream. They're talking about life. Dull care is who fostered life. Dull care is who they're about to burn. Dull care to some people represent like this theoretical sense of the riches care about stressful life and stuff like that. Some people think that. I don't see how you could come away with that conclusion from watching this. I think it kind of speaks for itself. Dull care is a person. It uses a pronoun, his, him, he. It is a male who fostered life. Continue watching.
As vanished Babylon and goodly Tyre, so shall they also vanish. But the wilding rose blows on the broken battlements of Tyre, and walk rends the stones of Babylon. For beauty is eternal, and we bow to beauty everlasting. For lasting happiness, return to one alone, and she surrounds you now. Great nature, refuge of the weary heart.
Okay, so for happiness, they are proclaiming in their creedal language that they turn to one alone, Mother Nature. Pagan, 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 pagan. Pagan ritual.
And only balm for breasts that have been bruised. Ye have cool hands for every favored brow, and gentlest silence for the troubled soul. The counsels are most wise. She healeth well, having such ministries as calm and sleep. She is ever faithful. Other friends may fail, but seek ye her in any quiet place. Smiling, she will rise and give to you her kiss. So must ye come as children. Little children that believe nor ever doubt her beauty and her faith, nor deem her tenderness can change or die. Bohemians and priests, the desperate call of heavy hearts is answered. By the power of your fellowship, dull care is slain.
Okay.
Dull care.
By the power of your fellowship, dull care is slain. The effigy is dull care. Keep that in mind.
Brought yonder from the funeral pyre to the joyous pipings of a funeral march. Our funeral pyre awaits the corpse of care.
Here you have the boatman, his face is painted up like a skull, bringing the bound body across the water. Again, we'll have enhanced video of this later. And let's see if you can pick up all of the different occultic meanings in the speeches you're about to hear.
Thus buried across the shadowy tide, in all the ancient majesty of death, dull care, arch enemy of beauty. Not for thee the tender tribute or the restful train. Fire shall have its will of thee, and all the winds make merry with thy dust. Bring fire!
When will ye learn that me ye cannot slay? Year after year ye burn me in this grove, lifting your puny shouts of triumph to the stars. But when again ye turn your faces to the marketplace, I find me waiting as of old. Fools to dream ye conquer care.
And some of us prevail against thee, and some thou shalt destroy. But this too we know. Year after year within this happy grove, our fellowship bans thee for a space. Thy malevolence which would pursue us here has lost its power under these friendly trees.
What you just saw was the voice of Care. Care says, fools, 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 3 times. I would say 3. Interesting that it does that. We know that from scripture, that there are beings in heaven that fly around and proclaim God's holiness. And when he does that, it's pronounced holy, holy, holy. That's how they do that. Now he, in this, says fools, fools, fools 3 times, almost like a mockery of that. And basically says, you can't burn me. When will you know that you can't hurt me, basically? And then they say, but when we meet here, it bans your power for a little bit. So every time they do this, they think that they get some sort of power to ban Care through the ceremony and meeting together doing this ritual. Let's keep watching.
So shall we burn thee once again this night, and the flames that eat thine effigy, we shall read the sign, Midsummer sets us free.
Ye shall burn me once again. Now with these flames, which hither ye have brought from regions where I reign, ye fools and priests, I spit upon your fire.
What the heck was that?
Okay, that's pyrotechnics.
What was that?
Pyrotechniques?
He goes,
He came up and was basically like, you can't burn me with fire that's made in the area that I reign. So basically, I have authority over anything that you're conjuring up to burn me with, pretty much. And then he spits out the fire.
Wow. Prince of all mortal wisdom.
Okay.
Owl of Bohemia, we beseech thee, grant us thy counsel.
Now it says, Owl, Prince of all mortal wisdom. Now, in the Bible, angels are often called princes. I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but that's just a term that is used to describe an angel. Satan was a fallen angel of some sort. We don't know what kind or anything about that. But he was also described as the god of this world. Prince of all mortal wisdom is the owl. Who is the owl and who is Dull Care? That's really the main point of what I'm trying to get at. Dull Care seems to represent, well, first of all, we know it's a he. We know it's represented by the effigy that it's a baby or a child. We know that it has dominion over all of creation. And we know that he has basically said, you can't destroy me because I have dominion and authority over all things that you could possibly try and destroy me with. And then we know the owl is the counterpart to that Dull Care. And the owl represents all worldly wisdom, all mortal wisdom. It's what they worship. It's what gives them power. And it is called the Prince of all mortal wisdom, or the Angel of all mortal wisdom.
Is nourished on the hates of men and drive him from this throne.
basically saying drive Dolcare from this grove, banishing whoever has authority over all of creation, Dolcare, and get him out of here is what they're trying to do.
Be gone, detested Care. Be gone. Once more, we banish thee. Be gone, dull Care. Fire shall have its will of thee. Be gone, dull Care. And all the winds make merry with thy doubts. Hail, fellowship's eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free.
So,
What is that?
well, what you just witnessed was a pagan ritual about sacrificing and banishing the power of a person or being called Dolcare that has dominion over all creation, and they had to turn to their deity in front of the altar, that owl, which is the prince of all mortal wisdom, in order to get some sort of substance to actually harm Dolcare, because anything they could conjure up by their own two hands, any fire they could conjure up, would not be able to burn Dolcare because he has dominion over it. What does that sound like? Yeah, you can tie it in with all these different conspiracy theories or whatever, but to me, this doesn't seem like a just, oh, this is where we go and, figuratively banish our worries through this ceremony. To me, there are too many undertones that are extremely dark here. And this is where 2,600 of the most rich and powerful men in the world are going to every year. Okay.
Sounds satanic to me.
You just hit the nail on the head. It might not be an actual human sacrifice going on. Ask yourself some questions. Who is Dolcare? Who is the owl? What is going on here? Like, what is the setting? Is this just a play? No, it's not just a play. It's a paganistic ritual. We know it's pagan in nature because of the heavy emphasis on the creation rather than the creator, and escaping the creator, escaping the one who created everything by turning to another, which is the owl, which is nameless other than the prince of all mortal wisdom, which can be, if you're a Christian, none other than Satan himself. So they turn to Satan, sacrifice an effigy to him that represents God, and that's how they banish God's dominion over the earth, or so they think. And that's what they're doing here. Now, you might be saying, okay, yeah, that's super dark, but how is it worse than human sacrifice? And I'll tell you how. Presidents go here. Government officials, American government officials, French government officials, wealthy businessmen, artists, anybody who is a somebody in America and even different countries. Like I said, the most powerful and rich people in the world attend this ceremony every year. And it's a ceremony about Satan being in control and sacrificing the God of this universe to Satan. That's how that's worse than a human sacrifice. The Manhattan Project was discussed here before it was a thing. So nukes, yeah, no women are allowed in the Bohemian Grove. It is only men. Why? I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. The Bohemian Grove was sued because of not allowing women to work there or whatever, discrimination. And they appealed that lawsuit, and the judge was like, okay, I'll overrule it. Well, the judge has 100% factually been in attendance of the Bohemian Grove. So just like any other fraternity, they look out for their own. And they are in business, they are in courts, they have a lot of money, and they have a lot of influence, and they look out for their own agendas. Now, what extent that is, that's debatable, obviously. But the fact that all of these people are getting together and doing a ritual that basically mimics, it's hard to deny it being Satan worship and anything other than diminishing the God of the universe and substituting God for the prince of all mortal wisdom, or Satan. Do you want your spouse to be in attendance here at this ceremony? No. Would you want your children here? No. Would you want your friend here even? No. So you sure as heck don't want your government officials to be here, especially not presidents of the United States. I mean, think about that, dude. The most wealthy and powerful people get together and celebrate Satan in this ceremony, and then go back to their homes and their daily lives and carry out their agendas in the workplace.
Even if they don't know they are, and they are,
right?
They're still worshiping Satan.
Yeah. You know, they don't really believe this stuff. They're just there having fun. Well, okay. Here's the thing though. If it's a parody, if it's a mockery, or if it's genuine belief, it doesn't matter. It points to a demonic entity and influence over everyone there, whether they realize it, believe it, or truly understand it or not. So regardless if there's human sacrifice or not, or the conspiracies are true or right, there's a darker reality here. And that reality is that this ritual is all about Satan and diminishing God. And that's where the rich, powerful elites are attending. So if they're attending this place that is under Satan's demonic influence, then they themselves are under Satan's demonic influence, which is way darker than sacrificing a human, in my opinion. America is not a Christian country. It's not. I don't even know if it really ever has been. Don't worship the country, okay? Worship Jesus, and that's it. That's all I gotta say about that. That's all I gotta say about that.
Don't like the video. I'm just kidding. Please like it. Please like it. Oh wait, I can't do it. Oh wait, I can zoom in while doing it.